All right, so there was a question on how to graph number 20. So I'm going to start by making a table using our transformations. So if we look at this, we can see that our A value is -1, and my H value is -2, and my K value is also -1. So then if I make my table, I don't know why I'm making this so big, but that's okay. Okay, so my parent function is y equals log base 2 of x. So then remember that we can work it backwards. We can think of it as x equals 2 to the y power and work the table backwards, and that sometimes is easier. So I think of y as my exponent, and then x is going to be the answer. So 2 to the 0 is 1, 2 to the 1 is 2, 2 to the second power is 4. I'm going to go ahead and put one more in here. 2 to the third is 8. And then is it still recording? Okay. And then 2 to the -1 is 1/2. Hold on, I gotta plug in because my phone's about to die. Okay, and 2 to the -2 is 1/4. Okay, so then from there, I know that my transformation for my y values is a y plus k. So in this case, it's going to be -1 times my y value plus -1 or -1. My transformation for x is x plus h. So in this case, it's going to be x plus -2 or -2. And remember that it's always the opposite of what's happening here in the parentheses. So then I can do my transformation. So -1 times -2 is +2, -1 is 1. -1 times -1 is +1, -1 is 0. 0 times -1 is 0, so this is -1. 1 times -1 is -1. Oops, -1 is -2. I wrote too early. -2. 2 times -1, so this is going to be -3 and -4. Going the other way, 1/4 minus 2 is -1 and 3/4. 1/2 minus 2 is -1 and 1/2. 1 minus 2 is -1. 2 minus 2 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 8 minus 2 is 6. So then on our graph, so just thinking about our parent function. For our parent function, we have an asymptote at 0, and we have these points. So at 1, we have a point at 0. At 2, we have a point at 1. At 4, we're at 2. At 8, we're at 3. And then going the other direction, we're here, and then we're here. So it goes in this nice curve like this, getting closer and closer and closer. So there's my parent function, and I'm just putting it there kind of as a reference to remind us of the shape and to kind of be able to see the transformation. So now my new function, my asymptote, remember, is going to be my h value. So it's now at -2. There's my asymptote. So I have, I'm going to start with this point. So I have a point at -1, -1. I have a point at 0, -2. I have a point at 2, -3. And then I have a point at 2, 4, 6, -4. No, 6. Put that in the wrong place. This goes here. There we go. 6, -4. And then going the other direction, I have this point at -1 and 1/2 and 0, and I have a point at -1 and 3/4 and +1. So my graph has flipped upside down. So remember, a -a value flips the graph vertically, so it's flipped upside down, and then it's also shifted left and shifted down. So this point that started here has shifted. No, where's that point? This point that started here has shifted down 1 over 2, and then the whole graph has flipped over around that.